Hey, ciao, mamas, ciao. I'm a big boy now. You guys know I'm here in my best doomsday blue, just being Lanoya, right? You guys can check out our show. We are X's for Show all over your social medias at X's for Show. As for me, I'm clearly a little too Eurovisioned out already in a good way. I'm ready to bring it at Nico Action. That's Nicoation.
And I'm a firefighter that broke the code, TK Elemental.
And I'm your producer, Kevo. I'm pretty proud of myself on our last episode cover for our coverage of this. My little Eurovision represent was Switzerland, so I called it in the office pool, I guess. Very proud of that. What a great final. What great performances. This was such a great year.
Oh, what? I had such a great time.
Did have a super fun time. I'm going to be the one to get it out of the way right now because I am the representative Jewish person of this group. It is a very complicated time. We are not qualified to go into an in-depth political thing. There's a lot of stuff about Eurovision that we are not qualified to talk about because I've been into it for 10 years and I still consider myself a very new fan compared to other people I know. And I just spent this just after time looking up Eurovision voting information and history and methodologies of study for the voting. And there's a lot here. And so the point of that being, it's very complicated. Genocide is horrible. Free Palestine. That's all there is to say about that. And contestants that believe that and really support the liberation and the safety of Palestine chose to continue to perform and chose to continue to be a part of this. And that, I think, is one of the big reasons why I felt it was really important to keep talking about it. But I think it's really important to acknowledge that there was a lot of controversy. There were a lot of problems, and a lot of it's stuff we're not really going to know about for a while. What happened with the Netherlands? We're not really going to know about for a while. There was definitely a lot of booing in that audience that was AI scrubbed. We're not going to know about all that for a while. We're going to do our best to celebrate the great stuff while we are here. We are going to be very aware that there's still a lot of controversy and do our best to navigate it. But we do know that genocide is wrong, peace is right, free Palestine, and we're going to figure the rest out as we go. Please bear with us if we miss the mark, if we get it wrong. Be in touch. We have the best of intentions. We're trying to get it right.
And we are so unbelievably lucky that we're still going to have an opportunity to talk about this incredible experience, getting to tune into Eurovision kind of all day, having an amazing time. And I do want to say that I did notice there was some voting, numbers that we just do kind of have to accept are always going to be a little bit different than maybe how we feel about the songs, because we attach more than just a song to a song. And so
also, sorry, go ahead.
Well, so I really want to get into, I'm so excited to talk about the show.
Yeah, I think it's also great. I love hanging out with you guys and talking about it, and I have such a blast because I'm also so aware that we culturally, as Americans and not Europeans, have such a different view of the music. And then within Europe, people have such different, views country to country and culture to culture about the songs. So it's really funny to be a few steps removed from the heart of the action, but to still love music and to love performance enough that while we might not always get where everybody's coming from with their voting blocks, we do kind of have our own perspectives on it.
And one of the things that I think is so crazy is watching the voting play out was wild, watching these numbers go up and down, trying to track some
or not move at all.
Hey, Estonia, you guys hung in real good. One of the things that was so wild was points coming in from the public versus the jury, and the way that all shook out was unbelievable. I think there were some clear favorites that maybe came into this, and I thought we're gonna do a little bit better. And then, as the jury voting is going, I'm getting a little nervous because, Croatia, hey, handsome, big favorite of ours. You guys might notice in the background, we're playing a little Rim Tim playlist. put together a little mix of this song. So let's start it out.
No, hold on. Let's get very clear about that for a second. What did you do? What happened?
I loved this song a lot, so I put together a cover of it, and also Doomsday Blue, which I think should be the new anthem for all humankind.
Thank you. I want to make very clear, these are Nico Action, not originals, but loving tributes, because Nico Action does loving tributes like nobody else, and this is his spin on all of it, and so, make sure you listen.
Look forward to more, I'm sure.
Oh, there's going to be so much more because this was so filled with so many amazing performers. And I kind of want to go quick through a lot of them. I don't want to spend too long on all of them. I want to start out with, I felt so bad for the Sweden boys. It felt like there was so much good energy for them. And then by the end, they just seemed like their name hadn't come up for so long. They seemed so sad, but they were they did such a great job. That performance was so tight to the videos, to the live performances. Those boys that did Unforgettable, really amazing job.
And that was one I did not like in song, and I did not like during the semifinals. And I was so captivated by that particular performance. This was the first year that I sat down, listened to all the songs in the playlist all the way through, watched the semifinals both days, watched them. I've put them on in the background before and lived my life, but I sat down and watched both of them and then watched the performance. Like I said, 10 years of doing this, never once did that. And it really changed my perspective entirely. I'm absolutely going to be doing that from now on. And plus it's just more time to celebrate. But this was the first great example of did not care for this song in any way. We talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago. I was pretty negative on it. I just in general thought it was totally unimpressive. I loved this performance. It really changed the game for me.
Are you saying this performance of Unforgettable was eponymous?
It was, yeah, it lived up to the name. I will not forget it because I will remember always that these two little twinks just kind of changed my viewpoint forever on how a song can change as you hear it.
Bay on the Beat. This was Swedes on the Beat. This was tight as shit. I love this performance.
Yeah, great performance. They're great. They sing well. I would love to hear another pop. I mean, it's Swedish pop. Come on,
Hey, Robin.
It gave me really big late 90s vibes. This felt like it could have been in a trailer for not The Matrix, but one of those movies that had a trailer like The Matrix.
I get it. I just want to say, Teresa, the Ukraine number, really beautiful song, very powerful imagery. Teresa and Mary, thank you.
Yeah.
Really powerful imagery, really beautiful song. I maybe thought some of the color blocking was a little severe, but I understand it's a severe time. But it's a stage. So.
We discussed this in the group chat. They dressed one of these women up like a sumo wrestler, which I think this is just, again, differing visions, different cultural visions of what one might do. I think that is, how we as Americans saw it. I will say, cutting to her in what we saw as sumo wrestler garb, rapping, and then shaking the camera as though her stomps were shaking the room, maybe gave a little bit of a fat shamery vibe. I know the whole delegation picked it. I know she had to have been part of the creative choice. I hope she was. So maybe they were just going for the power of the message, but read it a little differently, thought it was a little much during the semifinals, was surprised to see it back during the finals.
Yes.
I just want to say, I was a big fan of this song, so I was super disappointed when Germany's Always on the Run got no love from the audience. It got I think they said 5 votes or something. Yeah. And so it cuts to him going, "What the hell?" I'm with you, man. I thought that this was I thought this guy's voice was once in a generation. And so the song isn't great, but he is great. The performance is great. The fire was powerful. The imagery, the idea of burning your past. What are you running from? I was just sad to see Germany didn't do a little bit better, but I thought it was a great number.
I mean, and I compared him to Lewis Capaldi, the British singer who has a very similar voice.
And is the doctor.
Slightly different Capaldi, but you know, one day we could get there. Has a similar, like, let's be real here, let's be very honest, not the handsomest man to ever grace the
Unconventional,
stage. And is tough not to notice that basically every woman who was on that stage tonight was gorgeous beyond
even by Don Levin standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the men really got to get away with going up there, doing whatever they felt like. And there are just times
Estonia.
where, you know, another fantastic example. There are times where I really can't help but notice it. And anyway, this guy had an amazing voice.
Amazing.
I sort of maybe wish that the presentation and the presence matched. And I would feel bad about saying that, except for the fact that every woman had to be on top of it with that stuff. And so I kind of expect the same for the men.
Speaking of on top of it, Luxembourg, Fighter, I had no notes. I was obsessed. I thought this song got done dirty. This song was amazing. The video is amazing. The that bit that goes out of the chorus, that is the fucking hottest shit. She's amazing. The song was amazing. I don't begrudge anybody else any of their well-earned, incredible votes. I just wish Luxembourg had a few more.
And this was my second completely changed by the performance night of. I thought it was a fun song listening to it on Spotify. I was kind of underwhelmed during the semifinals, but Fighter as a night of song really just kind of took my breath away. Again, just so much stage presence, so gorgeous, just really hammering it, and I really had a blast.
Kevo, this is one that we watched a number of times because I love that run. That run is epic, and I love hairography. Mama had it, so
yeah, this was a really good one. I'm really glad it at least made it this far.
I thought that Israel gave a powerful performance with Hurricane. It was definitely one I will remember. And we'll think back to the very powerful voice cracks that were reached during some really epic notes. I mean that. I meant that really I meant that like as a singer.
Like the emotion of it.
Yeah, like as a singer who has had that moment where you Eric Carmen all by yourself, man.
Yep.
It was just very generic.
Yeah, I mean, like
the Max Martin of it.
Yeah, the politics aside, the way the Israeli delegation behaved the entire time, the way Eden answered questions, I was really turned off automatically. And I think ultimately I could have come to it a little bit more. I'm very angry at Israel, but I can't deny the artistry. Mm-hmm. If the artistry had been there, setting aside all other contexts, I just thought this was a kind of boring song. I don't really live for a ballad.
I also didn't love France, and we're gonna spoiler alert. I'm gonna have the same exact feelings about France.
Yep.
This
it's
just
not worse.
A lot of my questions about the voting where Israel concerned are really cultural and political, and I'm not going to be getting into that here. But there is a huge part of me that one big question is like, really? This many people liked that song that it jumped that high in the voting.
Again,
I'm
I feel
surprised.
the same about one more. I just
yes.
Okay,
we thankfully there's another country we can talk about it with that is less controversial. But I mean, I just at the end of the day, everything else aside, I was really kind of just bored with it.
You know what? I was kind of just bored with until I saw tonight. Looktel. Which the video never did it for me. The live performance that I've seen previously didn't do it for me. Tonight, I got it. I got it so good. I really understood why everybody's so into this song. Probably not a top 5 for me. 4 of my top 5 landed very high. And then, of course, my beautiful Greece, and we'll get to that. But I loved this tonight. This tonight really fucking got me. This was fun.
I always really liked this one, but I feel bad saying this, but I feel like this is the this is the one I always compare to the winner. This is the one that I always compare to the Code. Is the thing. It's not quite at the level. I like this one until I remember the Code exists, and then I'm like, oh right, that's the one.
And honestly, like, I wasn't crazy into the Code before tonight. It wasn't quite doing it for me, and I sort of forgot that Lithuania had Looktel and Switzerland had the Code, and these were two different guys because they kind of look similar. They're giving kind of similar vibes. Tonight, though, was where it really separated out for me, and unfortunately, Lithuania, the performance didn't blow my mind. I think I won't. Now that it's all said and done, I won't go crazy for the song, and sort of had the exact opposite reaction with Switzerland, where like tonight it finally clicked. So, but I love his little, breathe right nose strip, his bedazzled breathe right nose strip. I kind of want to, can I pull that off? Could that be my new thing? I feel like most Americans aren't going to know about it, so I'd have some time where I'd seem original.
What's 7 of 9 Son that I love?
Icheb.
Icheb.
Oh,
it's an
boy, do I
Icheb
love
type
Icheb.
thing. Yeah. Nico, one of the things that you said, you compared it to both Kylie Minogue and Blue Dabadi, which I think is pretty fair. Yeah.
And as much as I could talk about this one all day, I could also talk about Spain and Zora, which was such a fun queer moment. This was such a great time. I really thought this was a good queer thing. Spain gets 3, maybe. I was like, what happened? Where are all the gays? Oh, right. They're voting for the Code and not for Ollie Alexander.
Or Croatia.
So none for UK. But guys, I loved Spain. Where did Spain go wrong? I really thought Spain would do better than it overall got, to be honest.
This was queer in the way that gay men stan a diva. And the diva brought some very great gay backup dancers that were fun to watch. It's so funny because this was such a triumphant queer year for Eurovision, which we will be getting into more. But this song is actually like, it's just about being a bad bitch, which I think as gay men, we kind of always love to stand. But I guess ultimately, I don't know, it didn't resonate. I sort of wonder about ageism as well.
Oh, when they said that nobody's over 40, I was like, good for this performer then, because she's obviously not 22. So good
Right.
for her.
Yeah. And the vibe for me was entirely Kylie. It was entirely Madonna. I loved watching her kind of be another version of a performer that we see over and over again and love.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really loved about this song was that it just was gay to be gay and fun.
Yeah.
Songs can just want to be fun, and I feel so bad for Estonia.
Awesome segue.
I feel so bad for Estonia because
I don't. They chose this
because they thought they had the next cha-cha-cha.
Yes,
they
did think they had the next cha-cha-cha.
Everybody thought they had cha-cha-cha tonight.
I keep comparing this to a car commercial from the late 90s, early 2000s, like the Kia 2003, the Kia Fit.
Yeah,
like same music video and everything, but it's who did you say? Brian Posehn and Judah Friedlander driving around in the car instead, and that's the commercial. That's this song.
I gotta say though, I love a Eurovision song that pulls really hard from the heritage of the country, and seeing instruments that I never see on stage in pop performances where I'm from. Super blast. That's why Armenia ultimately ended up in my top 10.
Same, Armenia.
I thought I wasn't really into the song, but getting to see it live, figuring out how to blend pop with deeply, deeply cultural music conventions that don't directly relate to pop is not an easy thing. And sometimes you can do it and create a song that's listenable, but not memorable or fun, or it doesn't feel like it has longevity. Armenia absolutely did that. For me, Estonia just didn't. Even though I loved seeing that one guy's instrument, now I want to go look up what it's called, his like little bowed instrument, that just looked really fascinating to me. The song still, just no matter what, it was a bunch of old white guys jumping around. It kind of scared me a little bit, honestly. Well, I don't trust old white guys.
You know,
I said it's the band that your dads form, and like the one guy with the string instrument is like the town pediatrician who's way too into Halloween.
Stop! It's too good.
Too real. Speaking of people who are way too into Halloween,
love of my life. I think maybe one of the most talented artists I've ever had the benefit of locking my eyes on. I think this piece of music playing in the background right now, Doomsday Blue, is one of the best things I've ever heard in my life. Really, getting to score my own cover of this was an honor. I am a fan of this artist for life, and I don't think I saw everybody was running around hugging everyone. Yeah. No lie. But I don't know that I saw anybody jumping up and down the way I saw Bambi jumping up and down. I'm a fan of this performer for life. I was so proud to see just how well Ireland did, all things considered.
Yeah. I love them. I'm following their career now. This is one that I really can't wait to see. And honestly, like I said to you, I kind of got the song better after hearing your cover of it. And that's not like I'm not plugging the show or plugging your work or anything. It really was like, you know, as I said, some people, I got their song a little better tonight after not getting it at all. I really liked Bambie Thug's song before, but I don't think I got it. I think I was really excited about the concept and the character and the visuals. And I think, you know, hearing you play around with it a little bit, I got the song a lot more. And so I went into it today really into the song. But again, just the performance, the energy, her looks, their looks, everything about what they brought to the contest, I think really meant a lot to me. It really is a kind of future version of Eurovision. I think we're going to see a lot more contestants like them, like Nemo. It's always really funny when they kind of track the history of Eurovision, and you can see it shifting culturally, and see how the musical influences really shift, and how it keeps getting younger and keeps getting kind of more in touch with a global cultural zeitgeist. And I think Bambie Thug is one of the places where I saw that most this year.
And birth name, Bambi.
Yeah. They're
just that fucking cool. They're just that fucking cool. Can't even stand it. Literally one of my favorite things I've heard in the last 5 years. Can't say enough positive about this.
Do the mill, bro. Hold on.
While Kevin's getting that together, I'm gonna segue into our next track by description. Latvia Hollow. I just kept thinking this was a track from Fringe.
Yeah. Yes. He does look like what are they? The strangers? What do they call them?
Yeah, the Watcher, the whatevers.
The Watchers, the Tomorrow
the
People.
Watchers. Okay.
He just he had a really strong voice, a really good performance, a really good time, but not my thing. A little too man pain for me, maybe.
As my partner pointed out, he looked like he was halfway through getting ready for the Blue Man Group, and then just ran out. I did not. I was shocked this made it out of the semifinals. This and a couple other songs, I just really felt like I would have liked to have seen Australia make it. I would have liked to have seen, I think it was Denmark that had Sand.
Yeah.
Which, like, when you say it, it sounds kind of stupid, but I actually really liked the song.
I also really liked The Tower, which didn't make it. I really liked it. I thought it sounded like Ava Max. Yeah, it was really good. I was really disappointed it didn't make it.
Yeah. Yes. So this was, I was surprised. And yeah, I'm especially surprised when these happen and they really don't do well at all. That was another one with Estonia where I was like, I kind of can't believe they made it through. And then to make it through and not get any votes, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I was a little shocked, but yeah.
You know, nothing but love for every single performer. But let me just be clear: this is my wife.
Oh yeah.
I'm
This is Marina action now.
I'm Greek. I'm a Greek boy. Where do you think Nico comes from? This is my wife. I just want her to boss me around and tell me what to do every single day, everywhere I go for the rest of my life. She looks like she could maybe be more work than any human being on the planet, and I promise you, just look at her. She's worth it. I was bummed this didn't do better, but when Nemo got Greece's points, who was there to hug them?
Yeah.
I love her. I love this performance. She did maybe push the limits of all lead vocals must be sung live, but that had nothing to do with her and everything to do with the really cool dance staging. But nah, Marina's got my heart.
Did you guys happen to watch with closed captions on Peacock?
Yes, we did.
Just the fact that every time there was another language, it said singing in a global language.
Singing in non-English language. Singing in global language. Oh my God, how offensive.
Yeah.
That was so good.
I did not love that. I hope that as we continue to, not us personally, but America continues to express our enthusiasm for this competition, we maybe get a better hook into it. I never want Johnny Weir to America host for it again, but I might love, for instance, better closed captioning.
That was hysterical, though. So
it was very funny. I would take a moment that made me laugh that much again. What?
And you know what? We did get one.
Yeah. Okay.
As our segue.
Oh my God. As the segue, you know what? I maybe didn't love the song in the first place. Yeah. I maybe thought that it was sexual instead of sexy. Like the physical video by Olivia Newton-John is sexual, not sexy.
But it was like sexual, like a middle school dance. Like, this is such middle school language. And
and we are big RTD fans. It is no sin to love works that this person is a part of. So I am not here. I just see Greece 2025, and again, Greek boy here, big fan. All about Marina. I hope that's pro Marina.
I don't have the wherewithal to copy this and post it into Google Translate, but
thank you for your pro Marina stance.
Rooting for positive things about Greece.
Pro Greece. I really +0 to United Kingdom.
That was a shock. Has that happened?
I can't remember the last time that happened. And that's a me thing. That's not like a I don't pay enough attention. It has to have happened, but I can't think of a time when it happened with one of the big five like that, where it's just like, I don't know. I was shocked.
Oh, okay, wait. Elena Ferreira is a Greek singer who would be really glad to come back after 2005's win for Greece.
Oh, damn. Okay. I'm super down for that.
So I would love that too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me become better educated about my culture's performance in the world stage, in a field that I love so much, like music. Thank you for making me a better Greek boy.
I love that you just gave all of your United Kingdom points to Greece.
Yeah, well, sorry, Ollie.
Yeah, I don't know. This was not my favorite song at all. I was shocked by zero televotes. I thought he handled it really well. He's not always my favorite, but I hope he does okay, and I hope he bounces back. Oh, God.
I hope the tour is called the Zero Votes Tour, and I hope it sells out arenas.
Yeah.
Something I specifically want to draw attention to, though, is the fact that, some people would try to be like, queer. No, because look how queer so much of Eurovision was.
And Kevo, thank you for bringing that up, because I did pop onto Reddit after this and check out some reactions, and there was a lot of people being like, everyone knows it's because he's queer and he gave a queer performance. Yes, girl, go give us nothing.
Mark's typical UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
This was not an anti-queer
people.
thing. I think people just did not live for this performance. I get why he also this wasn't a good night for him. I feel bad that vocally he did it. Semifinals were better. I don't know. Sometimes it really just is about presence and about how the performance goes that night, and this wasn't it.
Yeah,
that's a bummer.
I do want to talk about Kevin, I'm so sorry you're not going to have an image for this. One of my highlights of the night was really, swear to God, You're Good to Go. The comedy number.
Yeah.
Was
sharp. And I'm sorry, I would have screen capped that. That was
clever.
Yeah.
I'm only one. This is my second annual Eurovision, and I understood 80% of the jokes. There was stuff that was in there. From the Tonys, the BAFTAs, sorry.
Yeah.
The number of amazing jokes that were in that You're Good to Go number, and then they used You're Good to Go twice in the show to loop it back in. Excellent production. I'm a bigger fan than I was before that, by far.
Yeah, that was really fun. All the interludes this year were very well done. Previous years for me have been like not super enjoyable. These were all really fun, and the post grand final performances were all great too. Just a really good one all around. And I frankly loved this one. This was was in the 10th spot, beating out Armenia for me personally. Until I watched Armenia, because I just loved them so much, and I was like, I can knock Norway out of my own personal top 10 because I think they'll do well enough. I think they'll be in the top, I figured they'd be in the top 15 maybe.
I just want to say that I grew up a metal boy. I grew up in the metal scene. I was playing some classic System of a Down for Jonah earlier today, just so he could see how hot Surge used to be. But it still is. But I grew up a big metal kid, and I was really heartbroken for Norway, who I thought did a really good performance. I don't know. I think part of what's happening, though, is that things like Norway's metal has given way to my precious Bambie's metal. And I think this is about age and about transition between genre.
Yeah.
I just want to say, though, I love you, Norway, and I wish you guys a lot of luck. You guys had a great performance. That is some excellent metal dancing, and you guys fucking killed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, this was a fantastic. And Nico, I love that you brought that up because I was really talking to my partner and a friend who stopped by to visit about the fact that this is a country that is known for metal and known for a very specific style of metal, leaning into what is a newer cultural route, but like a big cultural route for them. And I think it is maybe a little bit past the world's sort of...
It's not a Nightwish world anymore.
Yeah. But I love that you brought Bambie Thug into it, because that's kind of the new, really controversial, confrontational form of music that I think is kind of taking up that mantle. And I love that somebody who performed that did so well.
Yeah.
No, Cyborg, thank you. I've fallen head over heels in love with Eurovision. It has really been changing my life, and I love knowing that there have been rules that I need to do a little bit more research on. Kevin and I were saying that we found a video of the lowest ranked song every single year, 1957 to current. We want to watch that. We want to go back and watch some recent years, some classic years. I didn't know that the incredible, super phenomenal soprano Lara Fabian got her start in Eurovision. Lost my shit. Big famous queer ally. So a big fan of this shit. So can't get enough of knowing that kind of stuff. Thank you. And I do agree with Peak Jonah as well, that things like Poppy helped make the world a safer place for Bambie Thug's streaming habits, a little. But from a number that did not get enough respect to a number that got as much respect as any song could have, holy shit, this is a great song. You know, to know that La Noya, ultimately the song is like, she's that girl. It's so hot. She's so hot. She simulated the hair brilliantly using the stage lighting. She had all the attitude. I think I liked this song very differently live than I liked it in the video.
Yes.
Also, I do agree with you. Norway was not as heavy as a Nightwish Within Temptation sort of sound would have been.
It was getting into kind of Trans-Siberian Orchestra territory.
It should have gone a little bit more Luxuna Coil, a little less Bosch.
It felt Trans-Siberian Orchestra with like Sarah Brightman.
I kept thinking Sarah Brightman. Thank you.
Which, and it's a thing that I love. I just can understand why it didn't do great, but I personally really love it, and I hope they can find a way to tap that again for something big and loud and very Scandinavian that takes them far. But this I really loved. I actually didn't think this was going to do very well. And I thought
it's so good.
I also didn't think it was going to read very well because I, again, didn't feel like it did during the semifinals. Everything about it, yeah, she absolutely nailed it. Stage presence, 7th place. 7th place. Yeah, I was actually completely shocked, but very happy. Earned, 100% earned.
So earned, you know, and because like I've been walking around going La Noya for like 2 months now, so like you know, it felt really good. For the record, I also do like going Ramanda like all the time. I really do love doing that. But I was not surprised that Serbia didn't place stronger. But I did enjoy this song. Not her best vocal live performance though tonight.
Yeah, this, I don't know. This was another one where it was just like, this never hit me. Her voice is incredibly powerful. I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't it for me.
Generic again, you know, and that's okay. You know, what do we call this on our Drag Race coverage? Filler queens. This is a thing, you know, it's no insult. You're here to play and you're here doing your best, but you know,
it is one of the things where if you've made it this far, if you're in the top 25 at the grand final of Eurovision, you're not a bad musician. Like you're not like a joke.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about in the context of the night and who wowed me tonight of 25 amazing performances, you know, if most of these people were 95 to 100, if a couple people are 92, yeah, that's less. They did the least good, but they're still amazing.
Speaking of 95 and people that didn't so much wow you as they made an
killing
impression.
These transitions. Yes. This might have been an 89.
Yeah, I want the screensaver to go up on this one. I did not love this song in the first place. There's something that like almost intentionally DDR song silly about parts of this. The showing the penis, showing the penis. All of it. And like you kind of have to say the penis. Like it kind of has to be that level of silly for this. That's just how I live my life. And so I feel a little like this song.
This was a meme song. This was Dragon Sandite. This was like Numa Numa. This wasn't, you know.
Yeah, and like again, there's not a song I wish did poorly, but this getting 19th place kind of seems a little high.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I loved their energy. I loved that they committed to the bit 100% and did it all the way through. That you know, the shtick included a kind of concept and a story for the performance, even though it was just the guy being pantsless. You know, they could have, there were ways to go about this that would have shown that they were being silly and not caring. And this at the very least was they cared a lot and they were being silly. They cared enough to show up with a denim egg, you know, with actual thought put into the looks for everybody but the titular Windows 95 man, because his look is just the Windows 95 logo. Anyway, I really appreciated that they put effort into the bit, even if I did not want to see the bit sail through onto, and you know, even 19th, I'm like, Somebody else could have gotten those points and just risen up a bit.
Well, there was no higher to rise for me than I'd had big love in my heart for Portugal. I think Portuguese is, a super beautiful language, and I love someone who is very proud of being Portuguese. And so I was secretly pulling a little bit for Portugal, but this 10th place finish, such an unbelievable live performance. The vocal control, the perfect timed vocal fry done at exactly the right pitch. There was no limit to the exquisite finish that this was for this song's journey. And I'm really proud of 10th place.
Yeah, this was this was not for me, but I recognize the total talent. This is one of those places that I love to be watching Eurovision and paying attention and seeing the results, because I didn't live for the song. I don't have any here's why it wasn't good, because that's not the case. I just didn't live for it. I just didn't want. It wasn't a song I would have put on, but I was so fascinated to see how much other people loved it and how much energy it was getting, how many votes it got. It made me really happy, because it's something that makes me realize you really have to pay attention even to stuff that you don't like and distinguish what objectively is a great performance and a great production of a song versus the stuff that just you don't feel like listening to. It's just not for you.
The vocal control on this is one of those things that maybe as a singer I love to imitate.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where we all have the thing like someone who drums might connect with a song with really killer rhythm. And I do think this is a vocalist song in a lot of ways.
I love that. And I could see it doing really well, because in a lot of places people have a stronger tradition of singing, even if it's not professionally, but if it's singing in church, if it's singing at school, where when you hear a song like this you think I resonate with doing this well.
And there's something almost madrigal about na, 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 na. There's something very almost tribal feeling natural about it.
Yeah.
Pure moods.
Speaking of something that felt really awesome and really natural and really organic, Armenia,
and a pure mood.
And a fucking pure mood. Armenia slayed. I think they brought energy. They brought joy. They brought excitement. This was a video that I loved right away. It was a video that I think was killer right off the bat. Did I expect it to ultimately get 8th place?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But did I think it deserved it? Oh, fucking hell yeah. This was great. And this was a really cool celebration of culture. And the guy who played a bunch of instruments was stupid hot.
Yes.
This
is one of those songs that really made me pause and realize that I have to do a lot more work to understand the ecosystem of Eurovision, because like I said, I loved this song because it gave me a taste of somebody else's culture and heritage from a musical perspective, and they brought that really deep into what was otherwise a great fun pop song. And then I look at a band like Estonia, and they did the same thing, maybe not such a standard pop song, but they brought their cultural heritage into it. This resonated with me. That did not at all. And when it came down to it, I felt like the fact that Estonia did so poorly would lead me to believe that Armenia would too, because maybe the idea is people just don't like when the songs pull heavily on cultural ties. But I know that isn't the case. So it just really makes me look at the whole thing and wonder, what aspects of this song that was so deeply enmeshed in the performer's heritage resonated with people that it did so well, where other songs that didn't happen for, even though they made it to the grand final.
I think I know what it is. I kept thinking about it.
Yeah.
Her live performance. She kept being like, hey, come on. She was like, you're having a wild time. Yeah. It's what I feel like Marina captured better in the video for her song than she captured in the stage show. Yeah. Armenia brought you into the excitement and fun of being in an Armenian party. Yeah. And she made me feel her fun.
Yeah. And I will say that's a big part of this. I really quickly, in the hour that we had between watching the show and doing our show, pulled some behind the scenes camera, people filming the cameramen as they were, you know. France actually has the best example of this because he pushes the camera away, and that cameraman has to he has to ballet his fucking body and camera around to give you the effect that Francis pushed, and he did it, and you can see he makes it work. And this was another case where she interacted with her cameraman so responded, and that's tough to do. That is, you make a great point. Performance-wise, that's really important. It's very difficult to do, and when you look at somebody like Marina, that performance to me was like the next performance we're about to talk about, very Justin, Britney, NSYNC, 90s pop. It was such a crisp concert pop performance, and I love that. I live for that. That's top 10 for me, but I can understand how maybe it didn't resonate for Greece or for Cyprus in this case, the way that Armenia is much more come into my personal space. Let me pull you in and interact with you, even though we can have no interaction because I'm talking to an audience of millions. Totally interesting point that I wanna prey on a little bit. But in the meantime, we got
Cyprus, who came in 15th, all said and done, with Liar. I kind of thought Liar sounded like 15 or 16 of the songs this year. I'm not coming for it. I write a lot of songs that sound the same. So I get it too.
It, again, was another one that sounded like early 2000s pop to me. I compared this one and a little bit Lanoia to Stella Solia Kiss Kiss, which is a lost pop song from when we were in high school.
I want to just jump in. Cyborg's point of I really enjoyed Cyprus. I was gutted it got a low point. It felt like a Kylie song. I really get that. I thought the song sounded like it had 4 choruses, which made it a little hard to like. It was a little hard to track at points. Very cute, very likable. It did well enough, but I can see where maybe this is expected to do a little bit better with everything it had going for it.
I also Liar, Fighter, Firefighter.
That's what I mean. They all sounded very similar.
Yeah, they all.
And even We Will Rave.
There was potential to get confused, and it was just who was going to work for you and who was going to stand out. I think how hard You're a Fighter comes out as a chorus, as a definitive statement. And then similarly, You're a Firefighter. Like, it just, the literal word is a little bit stronger. And so in your mind and in your memory, as you watch the show, you're responding a little bit better to that than Liar, which just kind of goes under the radar. And ultimately, again, she gave an incredible pop princess performance, but I can understand how it sort of fell back a little bit.
I love that read.
And now let's just everybody, I mean, number one, we talk about it in our first episode. This is an unbelievable song, unbelievable performance. What an incredible voice. What an unbelievable amount of energy. And then as we're watching it, I said what made this clearly a standout contender for me. And, it's been in my top 5 this whole time. But what made it really work was specifically that they had one prop. And it was a standing single thing that moved, but it could not move on the stage. And they owned the stage with their only prop stuck in place. Nemo did something I've seen so few people ever accomplish in my life. They literally made an audience of millions stare at one tiny circle. That is Madonna. That is unforgettable.
This was not in my top 10 at all. This was not in my top 10 until this started. And I didn't like this song. I didn't care about this song when we discussed the previews. Didn't crazy resonate with me in semifinals. But I started to see that there was something kind of happening with interest in the song and tried to pay a little more attention. And just immediately I was charmed with the fact that they came out with the non-binary flag as well as the Swiss flag. I thought that was very brave. It's still not easy to do stuff like that. no matter how tolerant people are, it's scary. It's a big stage. To put yourself out there in any capacity is difficult. So I was already really impressed with that. And then, yeah, I think, Nico, what happened was during the grand finale, I really noticed the circle platform, and
So
that
incredible.
was a really interesting choice. And this performance, I think this was one of those ones where you could just tell that they gave everything they had in a way that was so noticeable and beautiful, and that you really wanted to root for. That, like, even if this semifinal performance was really good, that was maybe not a winning performance, and this was, because they left it all out on the stage. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think that's kind of the point of stuff like this. So it was a real privilege to get to see.
The spinning platform, a lot of the imagery of using the way it was a dexterous hurdle to overcome reminded me of the staging of Hamilton with the spinning disc stage.
The thing I kept referring to this as is an ultimate Bond theme.
Oh, the gothic
Yes.
R&B of
Yeah.
that syncopation is brilliant.
And I said in the group chat, it really felt like drum and bass, The World Is Not Enough to me. In a
So
way,
good.
in a way that I really loved. I heard World Is Not Enough and Writings on the Wall, which I think is a really good Bond song, even though Sam Smith is not always my favorite. I love Writings on the Wall as a Bond song, and it has that same really big band orchestration. And when you mix in some, kind of drum and bass influenced beats with that, it's a really fascinating formula. This is one that I'm so excited to see what they do in their music career going forward.
I just want to say how many of the queers all seem to like hug each other a lot.
Yeah, that was really beautiful.
I hope they form their own European traveling queer berries.
Truly, me too.
Sorry, we love each other and love being visible. Our bad.
That Marina and Bambie Thug both gave them so much affection, was such a beautiful thing that they ended the night wearing Bambie Thug's crown. Yeah, I did definitely cry like a little baby.
I mean, like, literally, I don't know how many of you were like alternative boys growing up in a rough scene that did not always love queer kids trying to sing their hearts out on a rock stage, but that was literally my childhood.
No.
And people like Bambi being like, no, you belong here. People like Bambi who fought harder for their credibility than I ever had to, and have more credibility than I will ever have. Just seeing the way they were able to give love to another human being, that's just like why I love this show.
In the midst of a competition too,
yes,
where you can look over at somebody and say like, good luck to you, but maybe you don't go embrace them because you're rooting for yourself. And like, sometimes to root for yourself, you have to be a little bit spiky. You have to be a little bit hard. You can't always go hug your neighbor, because that means giving up something for yourself.
Did you see the way Simone hugged Nemo at the end? The way Simone's hand was like almost like crushing. Like, I'm so proud of you. The strength in that hug gave me strength.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beautiful moment all around.
You know what sucked? I did not think Veronica was great. I did not think that Veronica was the best song in the world. I joked that this was Barbie Thug.
It's like, one of those things that just is going to get stuck in my head, though. Like, I'm sure we are going to constantly turn to each other and go, Veronica!
Yeah, I even knew exactly what you were going to do.
That's not the same thing as being Eurovision winner quality. That's all.
I think this is great. I'm just not shocked it didn't do better. I think this is a cool song, but I don't think it's got a long future.
Yeah, I get you. I don't have a ton to say about it either way. I sort of I would have been happy if this had been the Tower.
Or yeah, same. Oh my God, or Australia. Let's just say it.
Oh Lord have mercy.
This isn't.
Oh
this
fucking
space,
God.
So let me bring one up.
Baby Lasagna is obviously one of the most beautiful men who's ever lived. Baby Lasagna is the Mozart of his generation.
He doesn't know that he is the next member of the Action Pack, but he is.
He is the most brilliant mind. I am enamored of the way part of what the song reminds me of is actually The Bad Touch by Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah,
Look,
I get it.
the kind you clean up with a mop and bucket.
Yep.
Ciao, mama, ciao. Like, there's a hit about it. But what I think makes it so good is he understands where to laugh at himself. He thinks it's funny to kind of laugh about selling the cow. He laughs about talking to the cat. He is so brilliant in his humor. The person he kind of reminds me of the most is Annie Lennox. I think the person whose spirit of caricature he channels with effervescence, joy, and a quiet gender bent identity is a young Annie Lennox. And I just...
And funny enough, to build on your comparison to Annie Lennox, he plays such a masculine gender fluidity, and that's what's so great. Something that I noted while we were watching his performance is, and everyone is being so queer this year, but like Spain, for example, all of my dancers are boys. It's so gay. No. Baby Lasagna made sure to have a male dancer and a female dancer, and neither of them were like supermodel gorgeous, but both were definitely very hot. And it was stuff like the drum kit covered in crochet. Like it was a lot of really big style choices, I think.
Between this and Cha Cha Cha, I mean, TK, you've given me, and obviously Bambie, who's changed my life, but you've given me two of the best party tracks I've ever had in my lifetime. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this was another one where culture really pulled from it, or was really pulled into it. This was a big metal number, but it had even though musically this didn't necessarily have as much recognizably specifically Croatian heritage to it. I'm sure it did that I can't pinpoint, but the set dressing, the crochet, this vest, so much of the trappings of the performance were clearly, and the song itself is just it's about leaving your home. But
hold on, just because.
Sorry, I sent this to Kevo because I wanted to.
That's this right here is very Croatian. Yeah. I had to research European music to do it right.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say you're very right.
Yeah. So it's I always appreciate that. This was, I feel like, the first time I listened to it on Spotify, I was like, oh, this is something. This is something special. And I think the first time I was like, this is something special. And then the second time I was like, no, this is something special. And the third time I was like, this is kind of a banger. And then I was like, but the thing is, do they have it? Do they have it? Or is this a little silly? Is this maybe going to be closer to Windows 95, man? And then the semifinals performance, I was like, no, they have it. This is a rock band. This is, they are ready to perform at a level and with an energy. And then they topped themselves way over their semifinal performance tonight. The energy, the skill, the tightness, it was just all unmatched.
The vocal clarity, something that a lot of people don't realize is it can be really hard to hit all of your syllables.
Yeah.
I understood every word Baby Lasagna said, and that is not a sentence I ever thought I'd get to say.
There you go.
When I listened to the finalist playlist for the first time, this is the one where I rushed to our group chat to be like, this is the one that Nico is going to love as much as Cha Cha.
Yep.
And I was right. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah. As much as I love Tits Out Cha Cha, I think Tits Out is a little bit more a TK thing. Dressing like a gender bent pirate is a little bit more natively in my wheelhouse.
Okay. So now you both have one. All right.
Now we can make out in our cute little Eurovision outfits.
Perfect.
So excited. I really could not be more excited. Georgia, I want to say Georgia, God damn it, every time I see this live, I think to myself, I would pay to see this live show in Vegas. I would pay to see this live show anywhere.
Yeah.
This live show is insane. Every girl on Drag Race could learn some shit from this live show. This is one of the most TikTok things about Eurovision this year is the dance that she does. Excellent.
Yeah, I really love this song. I thought it was really powerful. I sort of didn't necessarily expect it to do the best, and that's fine. But for me, it was a fantastic pop song. Like I said, Fighter and Firefighter, both for me, had really kind of powerful choruses that sort of stuck with me, and I kind of wanted to bang my head to. And Liar, by comparison, didn't quite have it. But yeah, this really had it. It was really fun. I am actually very surprised that this did the low numbers that it did, given how great it was.
And they actually took it with a really beautiful sense of, this happens.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really good-natured "we lost."
Yeah.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say I have a lot of feelings about this song.
And now a song that at least was not the last song. How well this started doing in the point, I was not fully prepared for.
I need to clarify something. I don't like this song. I probably sing it in my car 4 times a week. I love to sing this song. I sat there muttering the French a long time. I took French for 3-4 years between college and high school, and I am not even passable at it. I can read like a children's book, which means I can sing along with a pop song. I phonetically learned this in French because I think, and I've even tried to hint that I love it to people, and to the point where TK tried to be like, no, it's cool if you wanted to work on it, and I had to be like, no, it's bad. This is the most fucking Benny Mardones Into the Night asshole bullshit I have ever heard in my life. Singing it is amazing. Watching somebody else sing it, not so great. I think this piece of songwriting, A+. I think this performance, Samane's performance, A++++. Watching him do it, like a B. I just would rather listen to this when I've been recently broken up with by the love of my life than just randomly. So then he's smiling and you're like, boyo, you seem happy for a sad song. And it's a lot.
Yeah. France, when they go for these ballady songs, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me at all. He has such a beautiful voice, and it is a great song for that voice. I don't know. It's what I always think of when I think of France and Eurovision, and I sort of it is, and I would sort of love for them to surprise me. And Daft Punk or French. There's other options. Not that they will come perform, but I'm just saying, you guys have a rich tradition of banging disco music. You could do literally anything but these torch songs, and you just love them.
You heard it here first. Daft Punk is returning to France to perform in Eurovision for 2025.
Thank you. I deliver the news as I get it. That is how
I hope AI picks it up and does an article.
100%. Yeah, I don't know. I just... Oh, I wish them the best. I don't care. And I knew this would do well and that I just wouldn't get it at all. I got really worried when it was creeping up there. But
yes. Why?
Sure.
And he's beautiful. He's so beautiful.
Yeah. He's really gorgeous. I would have been really happy to see Ireland, Italy, and Armenia push out Ukraine, France, and Israel.
I say UK, then nobody can push out
yeah,
UK.
no, nobody's worried about that.
Don't push them. Don't bully them anymore.
Yeah, they can't go any further. I would have been happy to see those 3 that I love so much kind of get a bit of a bump. But I recognize that this is the thing I don't get. This is a character of European flavor that the millions of people that are over there, that this is much more part of their lives. It resonates with them, and it doesn't resonate with me.
Winner takes a fall.
Yes.
Winner takes it all. Loser takes winner takes it all. Because they played it and so then I'm singing the whole song in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
Our moms wouldn't have liked this song, but we have aunts that would have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
all I
man.
have left to say to you guys is ram de dum dum da we will rave. Okay,
This
so
unequivocally my favorite song during my first listen through of the Spotify playlist.
can I tell you, this is my favorite Amber song, my favorite Jocelyn Enriquez
Yes.
song.
Yes.
I've come to realize that this is a bad song for this Eurovision, but I
Yeah.
think this artist deserves an incredible queer music career.
Yes.
And if I may, when we did our poll with our coverage, this actually ended up being the top of our poll.
Yeah.
This is the only one that got a S by the total votes was Austria.
Yeah.
Who did
Really
we have any
interesting.
D's? Can you scroll down so I can see our D's for a second?
Let's
Estonia.
Estonia, Netherlands, and
Lord.
France.
So
Yep.
Estonia we were right about. Netherlands would have done really well. And man alive, what a bummer. We clearly got it wrong with France, but again, that one is just really us and how we feel about. But I love I love that.
Other people, so yeah.
and I just want to point out that is the most points that Ollie received. So congratulations from
There
our
you
poll,
go.
Ollie.
There you go.
You okay, hun?
A lot of our medals.
But we did, you know, I remember being very proud of my choices here.
I feel great about it. I wish that a couple of songs had made it. Australia, The Tower.
Yeah.
Those are two songs.
Czechia.
Yeah. You know, there were some other ones that I can kind of see where they didn't make it.
Yeah.
And by the way, The Tower was Poland. I did love Malta's song. You know, there were a number of songs that could have made it a little bit further. There were a number of songs that I kind of feel like by what we saw happen with the voting, you know, could have gone a little bit different, but all good. All said and done, I think the real winner this year was obviously Nemo, but a couple of big secret winners. You know, there I think it every time I see it.
The Dandelions Friends.
I got it on purpose. Go check out our Dead Boy Detectives coverage and see why we're laughing.
If you're the one person who hasn't watched it yet, go check it out. But I really think Baby Lasagna had a killer year. I think Bambie Thug had a killer year. I'm going to avoid saying Ukraine and Israel had killer years. I'm going to say that it was a really amazing time getting to not just follow this unbelievable experience, but to get to be part of the Eurovision machine. You know, I really loved the nature of these performers coming together to celebrate music, dignity, and peace. And as so many of the performers said, wished they could say, or some of them said privately and, you know, ultimately didn't go further. I think like 7 to 9, or like I think ultimately it was like 11 people by the time of performance either stepped away, resigned, etc. And I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to recognize that Eurovision represents a very commercialized magical moment in a very complex tapestry that, as TK really eloquently said at the start of this episode, we can only begin to talk about in the tiniest way. There's so much more at play here. I'm so glad this whole thing went off so peacefully, so wonderfully, and that so many beautiful performers got to share the love of their music and their art.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sometimes we're kind of stuck just living that experience and celebrating the things that we can. I know it's complicated, and it often feels like we would like to just kind of step away from all this and recognize that we live in horrifying times and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. And there are a lot of times where I just kind of want to, like, I wish I could protest more. I wish I could be out doing something. I am literally powerless in this world. I do the best that I can with what I've got. And I feel like there are moments where you're kind of keeping yourself away from what's going on in the world, and there are times where you're united with other people just trying to do your best and still kind of recognize the things that make life special.
I want to say this is like my absolute favorite Bully Him video.
Oh my God, I wish.
The two of them were just so sweet, and I love that this was the top 2 of the night. They both just make me smile.
You know, when you get kind of like, you get to jump into something a little bit, right? Like, I think we technically started to watch halfway through last year's finals. We got to watch, I think, half the numbers, and then we got to watch the amazing groups all sit together. And so I think I missed a little bit of last year's performance.
We watched the whole thing last year.
I think I worked and came in late.
Oh, that might be the case.
Yeah.
But I do remember, because we were at my place, and I do distinctly remember like setting everything up and being ready at 3. I fully can believe that you were working.
I believe I was a little late. And so like so much of last year feels like a blur. I feel like I ran in and it was crazy. This year, I feel like I got a driver's seat. Like I felt like I was controlling getting to be part of the Eurovision experience, which is so silly because I didn't even really feel like I got to vote as a member of the not part of the Eurovision
rest
voting
of the
block.
world.
I don't belong in the voting block. I'm part of the rest of the world. The fact that Eurovision is willing to share this with the United States via Peacock is pretty cool. And I am very grateful that I get to be a part of it. And I feel like, I don't know, people are like, oh, as you get older, you really need to listen to the radio. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to have ideas as a songwriter for the next 365 years, let alone 365 days from some of the songs I got to hear tonight. And I've been listening to them for months. So to feel like I got to hear them tonight is crazy. How do you guys feel as we wrap up what was the most unbelievable Malin Ackerman is way too hot led Eurovision 2024 we could have had? She's way too hot, you guys. No, for real. That's why I'm pan. Like, that woman is super hot.
Respect.
Sally Jupiter. This was such a weird year. This was for me, like, I think my understanding and appreciation of Eurovision grew so much this year. And my participation in my own experience of it was a lot more active, a lot more engaged. And a lot of that was because a lot of the stuff around Eurovision is, again, really complicated, really difficult to sort out feelings, really difficult to figure out what you want to do. Are you just protesting the whole thing? Or are you really trying to engage and support the artists, especially that are speaking to things that are really important to you? And
can you take that? Yeah.
Cyborg has asked, can you guys... Can I ask you guys a question as being Americans? Can you see politics in the voting of Eurovision or do just the voting of the music? I absolutely can imagine the politics. Cyborg, this is what had me in the hour that we had between the show ending and our show starting, looking online about voting and discovering that there are voting methodology, like people are studying the voting methodologies of Eurovision. I know some statistician is doing a PhD, and I just need to meet this person.
Nate Silver's gay nephew,
in Serbia. Yeah. Absolutely, I could see politics. I mean, I was surprised. Again, taking all politics and opinions that I have out of it, I was surprised that Israel got no jury votes or one jury vote, and so many public votes.
Yes.
I felt that extreme probably represents a motivation of politics, essentially. I also think it can represent a lot of support from an organized group of voters, which I think is fantastic when it comes to the televote, even if I don't necessarily agree with them. I get it. The extremes really say to me that there is something more at play. When we saw ultimately that Switzerland won, it felt a little bit more understandable. I was maybe even surprised that they got as many jury votes as they did. But at least, seeing that they did so well with the jury votes when they did really well with their public vote too, it was sort of like, okay, this is in general, I think people really felt this song. And the same goes for Croatia. So I think there are obviously both sides to it. And like I said, I'm going to spend a lot of time studying up on this and finding Nate Silver's gay Serbian nephew who does Eurovision statistics.
Ugh, man. I think that's super hot. Kevo, what are your parting thoughts as we say goodbye to Eurovision? Because I'm not going to let it be for a full year. We're gonna start in the prelims next year. Good God, this is Drag Race for me.
I get that.
What are your final thoughts?
I get that, and I agree. I loved a lot of the commentary that you had about last year. I don't think I had been properly prepared last year, but this year I really knew what to expect, and I had a frame of reference from having the experience of last year. And there were ones that stood out that I still remember and still listen to and sing. Who the hell is Edgar even? And there are ones that if you played for me, I would be like, oh yeah, right, sure. There were a lot of ones I really attached to with this. I ultimately really loved a lot of the finalists, and I am super stoked for more coverage next year and to see how this continues to engage with and inform other stuff that we do, like our Drag Race coverage. It's all about performance and art, and I think that there's so much intersection with what Eurovision does and what we see on Drag Race, which is great.
Ugh, I love it. Teak, do you have anything you want to add to the discourse of Eurovision 2024 for the X-Pack?
I'm going to be reposting from our Twitter account something that I'm literally seeing as we wrap up, which is Bambie Thug behind the scenes, giving a bit of a manifesto. And she just really kind of pointed out something. It's very harsh towards the EBU that puts on Eurovision. And I'm not going to get into that. I want you all to watch it. But one of the things she says is she's really hard on the EBU. But what she said is Eurovision is us. It's the community. And she's talking about these artists that she performed with. And as I've been trying to sort of elucidate why I still wanted to talk about this, even though I feel a lot of what Bambie is saying, and I feel a lot of that protest, and I'm angry with the EBU. I felt like things like banning the Palestinian flag were really unfair. I think there is a line that is clear between that and doing something really horrible that is easy to define that they just didn't even try to. And what Bambie's talking about is, despite all of that, these artists still exist, this community still exists, this love still exists, and people worked hard to be able to express that. And it was such a privilege to be able to experience that, to honor those people, to be moved by them, to share that with people that I love. And that's what makes this so magical and what makes it important to me to still talk about. The people are amazing, even when organizations that surround us are terrible and complicated. And we can say both and we can celebrate both. And, that's where I'm at.
I love that. And until we come back tomorrow for part 2 of our Eurovision with some Doctor Who premieres, Kevo, where can everybody find you on this incredible internet?
You can find me over on the socials at Kevo Really. That's KEVOREALLY. Nico, Teak. I never screw that up. I was due. Teak, where can the folks find you?
You can find me at TK Elemental. Nico, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me making music like it's been playing all night and more at Nico Action Music. And I also do want to say that I do exist in this same crazy universe, and I do have a lot of feelings about the nature of the world we live in, because it's definitely more complicated than just that. But I want to thank TK for speaking so eloquently on the politics of so much of this for so many of us who don't always have the words ready. But until next time, we need you guys to do 3 things, right? But we want you to do 3 things. The wants: like, comment, subscribe. We love you. The needs: number 1, stay safe. Guys, it's a scary universe. I'm so glad this whole thing went so well. Number 2, please be brave. It's an incredible world, but if there weren't Bambies and Nemos inspiring us, where would we be? And number 3, do us a favor, evolve daily, because who you were yesterday, amazing. Who you were today, incredible. But who you are tomorrow, that's the dream. And we want to see you guys at Eurovision 25. So until it's Eurovision 2025, we'll see ya. No, see us tomorrow. No, see us tomorrow. Okay, now go.
No.
Stop me.